is going on, everybody, and welcome back to TCG Madness. And in today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the altered TCG starter deck. We're going to be taking a look at the Ordis starter deck. We're going to be going over all of the starter decks to be specific, but in this video, just going to take a good long look at the Ordis starter deck. And in this video, I'm going to go ahead and break it open. We're going to take a look at the contents inside, and then I'm going to show you guys 10 cards that I would take out and 10 cards that I would add to this deck to give it some much needed firepower and to give it a little more synergy with this deck. Now, before we go any forward, if you guys can do me the really big favor right now, please hit that like button. If you're new, consider hitting that subscribe button. Don't forget to also hit that notification bell so you guys never miss when I drop a video. Also, too, if you guys want to comment and let me know what direction you would take this deck. Maybe you take a different direction, maybe you add different cards to this. Comment all that stuff down below because I'm really interested in hearing what some of you guys have to say, because Altered TCG right now is just one of those rare and unique card games that offer up a wide variety of ranges to actually manipulate and to have different type of ideas and a building type of decks and stuff like that. There's no one way to actually build these type of decks right now for Altered TCG, and it's something that I absolutely love right now with Altered. And the reason why I think this card game is going to be one of those card games that is going to really explode and really give fresh perspective into card games. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that as we go ahead and unveil the starter deck itself. So without further ado, let's go ahead and crack this thing open. Go ahead and take a look at the contents inside. Now, I'm very curious to see what the starter deck looks like, because I've been playing a lot of the starter deck over on Board Game Arena. If you don't know what that is, there'll be links down below in the description box for all of that. Now, the starter decks seem to have been built a little bit differently. So the contents inside, this looks like to be like a rule book for Altered. Yeah, pretty much. So you get a rule book. That's pretty good there. The reason why I say that the starter decks have been built a little bit differently is because the way the starter decks originally were built and eventually were changed on Altered TCG or on Board Game Arena. So I'm very curious to see what the final product for these starter decks look like, because we really don't know. At least I don't know. And this will be my first time. So we also get some tokens, which I absolutely love. These are the tokens the game uses. You got your +1 counters, your hero and your companion token for all different types of various factions. Anchored ability, fleeting, asleep, +1s, +2s. Really nice there. So I do like that the starter deck comes with that. I'm very curious to see too if the starter decks come with any of the land drop cards too, because I have not seen those in the booster boxes. I'm very curious to see if we get it for the starter decks. So there is the starter deck itself. It does seem like we do get a code for the starter deck, so you have to like maybe do all the cards in. Maybe you'll just be able to get the starter deck, which will be really good. So I'll have to individually put every card in the database. That would be annoying. Let's go ahead and rip this plastic open. There we go. Now let's go ahead and see what the final product for the starter deck is. So there is the QR code. There is the hero itself, a pretty standard hero for Ordis. This one is a Sigmar and Wingspan. This one's really good. It just says at noon, create a Ordis token in your hero's expedition. You can also use 2 cards in reserve, 2 cards in your landmark. I do like this a lot, and this is going to be the leader that we will use, and we're going to go ahead and build and expound on this leader. But like I said, let's go ahead and see what all the cards look like. We do get Ordis Cadets, which is pretty good. We get a couple of full staple of those, so that's pretty good there. We also get the Frog Prince. We get a full, nope, no full playset. Oh no, we do. No, we only get 2. Cards are a little stuck together, so I'll try to do my best to separate them. We also get Ordis Gatekeeper, which is a pretty good card there. 3/3 for a 1/3/1. Create an Ordis Recruit token in your other expedition zone, so I like that a lot. We get 3 copies of that one. Pretty good there. We also get Charge for 2/2. That's a nice fleeting spell, and characters you control gain 1 boost. So not bad there. We also get Sticky Note Seals. I like that too. It basically send to reserve target character with a hand cost of 4 or more. Discard target permanent with a hand cost 4 or more. So we get to choose one of those. So not bad there. The Monolith. Now these are the cards that are really, really good for this deck, because these are the permanent, basically like field spells or landmarks that you get to play. And they basically do this every time. So when a character joins your expedition, it gains a 1 boost. So that's pretty good, especially for these tokens, because these tokens are very weak, so you want to be able to boost them up. The only problem with this card is there's no way of ramping, so that 5 cost is a little costly. So we get a play set of those. Ordis Carrier, here's a great card right here. Here's the one that allows you to continue to create these tokens. At noon, create an Ordis 1/1 soldier token in your companion's expedition. So I like that. I'm glad we get a full play set. Ordis Spy has Sabotage for a 3/2. I like that as well. And we do get, it looked like we did get 1 rare copy. Yeah, we did get 1 rare copy of that one as well, so that's pretty good. Ordis Trooper, play set of those with 1 rare, so that's not bad there. Jean d'Arc, we get a play set of those with 1 rare. Kakoba Legion Commander, 2 copies with 1 copy of a rare there. Monolith Rune Scribe is a 2/2 for just 2 across the board. Nothing crazy there, but we do get 1 rare copy of it. And it says if you control a token, resupply. Put the top card of your reserve. Put the top card of your deck in reserve. Pretty good there. Open the Gates. Create 4 of the 1/1 soldier tokens. That's a pretty good rare. Distribute as you choose among any number of target expeditions. We do get a Ratatasker, so this is actually an out-of-faction rare, so that's pretty cool there. A 1/3 for a 1/1/1, and normally when you pay the 3 cost, you would get 2 1/1 booster Ratatasker, but this one allows you to create 2 more soldier tokens in my expedition. We also get a Foundry Mechanic, so that's pretty cool there. Nothing crazy about the Foundry Mechanic, just a bunch of 1/1/2s. And here we go. These are what I was talking about. So I'm glad the starter deck does come with these, because these are the landmarks you do need to play the game, and it does show you phases of the day, and also too you get Brassbug, Boda, and a bunch of the recruit tokens, which I do appreciate. I do like that, again, with deck we actually get all the icons, the phases of the days, and the icons, so you can use these as little cheat sheets as you're playing the game. Great for any new player. So that's the deck itself. Now I'm going to go ahead and move into this topic of 10 cards I would take out, and then we're going to go ahead and add 10 cards to this deck and give it some much needed firepower. Okay, now for the 10 cards that I would take out, starting with, we're going to go from the cheapest to the most expensive, and we did take out 1 of the rares. We have a Foundry Mechanic. It's just kind of thrown into this deck, has no business being in this deck. I would absolutely remove it. The other thing that we took out 1 copy of the Ordis Trooper. We took out the entire play set of the Frog Prince. This card, for a 2/2 for a 3/03, it's decent, but it does not belong in this deck. What we're going to do with this deck is we're going to try to get cards that can create us as many tokens as possible, because that's what this deck really wants to do. We're also going to take out 1 copy of the Ordis Spy, 1 copy of the Kakoba Legion Commander, and then we're also going to take out all 3 copies of the Monolith Ordis Bastion. This card is a little too expensive for my taste. It's a 5/5. I think we could do a little bit better, and also too, it doesn't really create more tokens, it just boosts everything, and that's not bad. It just does not belong in this deck. In this deck, we really just want to continue to create as many tokens, just overflood our opponent with a bunch of 1/1/1 tokens. That's all we want to do. I really don't think this card is meant for this deck. Now we're going to go ahead and shift gears, and we're going to head over to Alter GG, and we're going to go ahead and show you guys 10 cards that I would add to this deck that would give it some much needed firepower. Alright, now that I showed you the 10 cards to take out, I'm going to go ahead and show you guys the 10 cards that I would add to this deck that would give it some much needed firepower and give it some much better synergy with the deck. The deck direction that I did take eventually was I put a lot of cards that will allow you to create a bunch of the 1/1 tokens that we keep seeing come up for this deck. That's pretty much what this deck wants to do. Now, currently, the way that I have the deck built, we only have 7 rares. Remember, when you're building a deck in Ultra TCG, you can have up to 15 rares and 3 uniques. The uniques I did not add to this deck because, again, I don't know what everybody's unique situation looks like, right? If you have a unique card that probably builds you a bunch of tokens, does some really cool stuff, it probably deserves to be in this deck. Of course, I don't know if you have that card because that's exactly that. It's uniquely yours. So if you have a card that's like that, keep in mind when you're building this deck, if you do decide to build this deck, if you do take 3 cards out, I would obviously recommend putting 3 unique cards that would give it some much needed firepower. With that being said, let's go ahead and round out the rares first, right? We have 7 rares currently in this deck. Let's go and take that number from 7, go ahead and build it all the way up to 15. Starting off with Ratatasker, we do get 1 rare with this deck, so I'll go ahead and round it out to 2 more copies of Ratatasker because it does exactly what I want it to do, right? For a cheap 1-drop, we get 1/1/1, but if you play it out of your reserve for 3, you get to create 2 Ordis 1/1 soldier tokens, which is exactly what this deck wants to do. Adding 2 copies would round out your rares too. You already have 1 Ratatasker that's a rare. Let's go ahead and bump it up to 3 and give him 3 copies of that. The next rare that I would add is 3 copies of Haven Trainee. It's a 2/4 for a 3/1/1, which is pretty powerful just on its own. However, though, if you play it out of your reserve, you're going to create a 1/1 soldier token each of your expeditions. So I do like that a lot, that we're getting 2 basically 1/1 soldier tokens in both your hero and your companion expedition. So we're really rounding out that nice rare and also to rounding out more Ordis tokens. So I really do like that. 3 copies of that one definitely needed. That then takes you up to 12 rares for your deck. The next one, I would at least add 1 copy of the Ordis Spy. We already have 1 in the deck, but I'm definitely going to add another one, strictly because it's a 3/2. So out of your hand, you get to play for 3, and then you get to sabotage with it. Then once it goes to your reserve, you get a cheaper reduction cost, so it costs you 2 out of your reserve, and then you're going to create a 1/1 soldier token in my expedition. Essentially, for 2 mana out of your reserve, you're getting 2/2/2 plus another 1/1/1. So really, for 2, you're getting 3s across the board, and you're getting another token, which is what this deck wants to do. 1 copy of Ordis Spy for sure. The next up is my favorite pick of this deck. If you don't go with the Ordis Spy and you decide to not do that, I would definitely add 3 copies of this one. But instead, I went with 2 copies of it. I definitely can see an argument for 3 because this card is actually really good in this deck. It's an out-of-faction rare. It's Brass Bug Hub. It comes in and it adds 3 Keylon counters. You then at noon can pay 1 mana and spend 1 Keylon counter to create a 2/2 robot token. This deck only cares about creating tokens, so we create a bunch of 1/1s, right? Why not create a bunch of 2/2/2s across the board as well, too, and really round out that token base? So now we're getting soldier tokens and we're getting brass bug tokens. I went back and forth between keeping this card and then adding 2 copies. Again, I don't think you can go wrong. You can easily, disregard this Ordis Spy, take out that, and not add it to the deck. And I can definitely see an argument being made to add 3 copies of this Brass Bug Hub. Imagine playing both of these for 2 mana, having 2 permanents that are Brass Bug Hubs. Oh my god. And not only that too, it doesn't gain fleeting, so once you're done using this card, it's then going to go to your reserve, and then you can pay it for your reserve cost and then bring it out that way too. That to me is pretty strong. I actually like that a lot. Mix this up with your other Ordis landmark permanents and stuff like that, man, you can really be whipping out a bunch of tokens in this deck, and that's a lot of fun. So that rounds out all 15 rares right there, and then of course I have the last 2 copies I'm going to add to this deck is going to be Paper Herald. Now the reason why we're adding this card to the deck is it does at least 2 things. Number 1, it's cheap, inefficient cost, but then once you play it from your hand and it goes to your reserve, you can take a quick action to actually discard me from the reserve to do this. So you can take a quick action, discard this card from the reserve, and then you can create a 1/1 soldier token. Essentially what this is saying is you're playing this for 1, and then this Paper Herald eventually transforms into a 1/1 token. That's basically what it does. Not bad. I think it actually deserves to be in here, and that's the reason why I'm also adding this card too, is because I need to round out a couple of my 1-drops. We did take out a couple of 1-drops, so that round out the 1-drops a little bit more. I think Paper Herald is actually a little bit of a better target. So that's going to do it for this deck. That's going to be the 10 cards I'm taking out, the 10 cards that I'm adding in. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comments section. Again, don't forget that if you do have some really powerful Ordis unique cards, obviously it goes without saying I would not put in Paper Herald, and maybe get rid of this Ordis Spy and put in the 3 unique cards that are powerful for you. I don't know what your unique situation looks like, so I can't really, talk about that. I'm just adding cards that the everyday player can get. But let me know what you guys think down in the comment section. You guys would take this a different route, different direction, with different cards that you would add instead of what I added. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. Don't forget to hit that like button. If you're new, consider hitting that subscribe button, share it, do all that great stuff. I really would appreciate it. Next deck we're going to take a look at will be the Bravos deck. We're going to take a look at all the starter decks for Altered TCG. I think this is one of the best card games that's going to be hitting this year. I highly recommend you guys jump into it. Again, use Board Game Arena, use Alter GG, see if you really do like it. And if you do like it, highly recommend picking up a couple of booster boxes, a couple of starter decks. It's an easy way to get yourself started. That's going to do it for this video. As always, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. See you guys next time.